Nair, Dean Alumni Affairs and International Programs, Professor Sanjeev Sanghi, former Dean Alumni Affairs and a key proponent of the establishment of the IIT Delhi Endowment Fund, esteemed faculty and administrators at IIT Delhi, and of course to our supportive alumni colleagues around the world who have joined us online on this milestone inauguration of the new IIT Delhi Endowment Center and Foundation Office. I would like to extend a very warm welcome. Thank you for being with us today. Since the announcement of India's first alumni endowment fund by an educational institute by IIT Delhi in October 2019, a lot has happened. The IIT Delhi Endowment Management Foundation, a Section 8 company, was incorporated in March 2020 specifically to support the Institute's advancement efforts through alumni outreach, fundraising, and stewardship activities. Since September last year, I have had the honor and privilege of being of service as the Foundation's first alum CEO. Thank you so much for this opportunity. We are today pleased to announce the completion of the next major milestone with the inauguration of this new endowment center and the Foundation's headquarters. Strategically located at the Institute's main administrative building on IIT Delhi's campus, the Endowment Center provides a distinct showcase of how contributions of its global alumni are supporting the advancement and realization of the Institute's aspirations for the future. The new center was conceptualized to provide an environment and ambiance where visiting alumni and their families can envision and experience how their support will tangibly contribute to the development efforts of alumni, students, and faculty. Within this modern collaborative facility, we look to integrate and leverage our academic, industry, and community connections in innovative and high-quality ways. At this time, I would like to call upon Mr. Nitesh Minocha of Rachnaman Design, the chief architect of the project, to share some of the insights while designing and developing this facility in the context of IIT Delhi, its alumni, and the purpose of the Endowment Foundation. Nitesh?
Growing up in Delhi as a science student, IIT Delhi was always something new. It was that pie in the sky in a way, because that was what motivated you to study, or your people motivated you. Through the years, one has been associated through some friends and relatives who are associated with the association, but this became a very intimate and very gave me such a profound 360 of the whole institution and what all the and meeting all of you people. I think I individually apologize for not knowing every name and how you, but I know individually like O.S. Iyer and others who contributed to making this happen for us, show us the path in terms of how to navigate this. And I'm thankful to everybody's help and cooperation with us for this. Mr. Dugal also especially for his entrusting us with this responsibility and probably knowing better than me what I was heading for when this was starting. Looking at the design, I think there were two distinct things. One was obviously the physical part of the building, which looked like something when we first time looked at it, I think it was something you had to really sit back and take a strong drink and think how this is going to be something we imagined, and look for something which, see, the idea is that we, as I understood the ethos of what we were, this institute was standing for, and this subset of the institute was going to be the idea of the aspiration to improve what today technology has become so front and center of our lives. And engineering, I think, again, after a while in this cycle of things, is really in the forefront of humankind today. And when I have had the chance to meet with all of you, you realize how much value a vision like this can take forward to, like the enthusiasm when we had as students to come, like at that time it was if you were in IIT, you had made it in life. I think with so much clutter in terms of options and other things, there is again, I think, opportunities to refocus and reinvigorate the newer people to get into this. So I think that's what the thing is. In terms of the design, we've tried to be very conscious in terms of, one, make sure that we represent a face which has to be represent the technology in a very quiet way. It is something where I think all of you probably understand engineering better than I do. But the idea is to present it in a way where it's not in our, so we've gone behind the scene, we've had a lot of how we build the place in terms of whether it is our engineering for placement of air conditioning pipes or how we thought of our electricals. We made that as a conscious thought, and also to transform this into something which all of us can look forward to and as a smart solution to all our endeavors. I thank you again all for
Thank you, Nitesh, for giving us a glimpse of what the future can be like and how we could sort of, have it in our environment. I think that's really been an amazing integration of so many elements that you put together in this rendering. I would now like to call upon Mr. Arun Dugal, Chairman of the Endowment Management Foundation and Co-Chairman and Founder of the IIT Delhi Endowment Fund, to share his thoughts on the conceptualization of this endowment center. Arun?
Thank you, Vinay. Dr. Rao, distinguished faculty members of IIT Delhi. When the endowment fund was being set up, and since it was a pioneering effort by Dr. Rao, Professor Sanghi and others, there was no blueprint, there was no roadmap on how this whole effort can be constructed. The legal structure, the accounting, tax, everything was new. But there was one thing which we always bore in mind, that we are setting this up not for this year, not for next 5 years, but something which will endure for the next 50 years, for the next 100 years. And that was the thought that this should be the structure of the Endowment Foundation. And I think similarly, when this office was being conceived, conceptualized, that was the thought we shared with Nitesh and his colleagues, that this office is going to represent a place where alumni of future would come and say, yes, we belong to the institute, and this is the office, this is the place which induces us to give back to the institute. And I was just being asked by the students about what is it in the endowment fund that is which would be so unique and compelling. And my own thought is that most endowment funds, and we have received a lot of gifts in IIT in the past, but most of that has been related to the emotional connect that the alumni have had with the institute, the good time that they had in the institute, in their hostels, in their classrooms and all that. But our concept was that let's take it one step forward. We should have a plan for what this institute is going to be in the next 5, 10, 20 years' time. And for that, a strategic plan for IIT and a vision document was released last year on October 16 by the Vice President of India, which encompasses what is the vision for this institute. And when we go to the alumni and ask them for funding support, our main proposition to them is not that yes, you give back to the institute for the emotional connect that you have and for all the institute did for preparing you for life. But more importantly, you give back to the institute for the future. You participate in the future of the institution. So that is the main theme that we will have as we go around and expanding the donation pool for the institute. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Arun. I think we've come a long way since you've had that vision, and I think all those little aspects I think we figured them out along the way, and the team has been growing, and appreciate all your guidance and support as we've gone through this journey. I would now like to call upon Professor Naveen Garg, Dean of Alumni Affairs and International Programs, to say a few words to us.
Good afternoon, colleagues, Professor Rao, Mr. Dugal. Yeah, I think this is definitely a very momentous occasion, right? This is something that we've been planning for a while, we've been working towards it, faced quite a few challenges, and Vinay can testify to most of those. But it has been a useful journey. It has been, we've learned from some experiences there. The idea of the endowment fund, of the endowment foundation is, I view it as a very bold experiment, right? One of the boldest experiments that this institute has done. And this represents one of the tangibles of that experiment. This is what, when you come, when our alums come and see, this will tell them that this is the boldness of our vision. This should tell them that this is where we are, this is what we expect out of this endowment. This should give them an idea of where we would like to be 10 years from now or 15 years from now. So to me, this nice office, this beautiful space that has been created is should remind people that we have had the vision, or we have the vision, and we are also willing to make that effort to put that vision into practice. And hopefully that should convince our alums to also contribute more generously to the institute. So that is how I view this experiment, and I'm sure this will be successful, and we'll be around to see it succeed. So thank you for being here, and as I said, it's great to be here. Thank you, Vinay, for making it happen, and thank you for the entire team for putting their effort. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Garg. This is really a major collaborative effort, and I think if there's one thing I've learned, the few months I've been on the job, is how closely linked both the alumnus and the Office of Alumni Affairs is to the vision, in realizing the vision that I think we all have of where we want to take the Institute to. So appreciate all that support and cooperation. I would now like to invite Professor Sanghi, a major proponent and one of the key sort of conceptualizing on the whole endowment fund right from when it was just a thought. Professor Sanghi?
Thanks, Vinay, Professor Rao, Mr. Dugal, colleagues, friends, and people with whom I've worked for 4 years. They're all here, and nice to see all of you. So, thanks for giving me this opportunity. Of course, for me it's a very momentous occasion. It's because we had the way this whole, I would call it was a dream at one time, which now is getting materialized or is getting actualized. So really, it's something about which we dreamt of, and this dream did not come from me or from us, but it came from the alumni. It was the alumni who started this and who said that this is possible. And when they said that, in fact, I remember the first person who said this should be done was Vikram Gupta, who has been with us and a part of the board. And he said, no, it can be done. And we, at least personally, I thought, no, I don't think it would be possible to get to such levels and because till then, whatever experience we had, Professor Rao also remembers, things were not very encouraging. But then things started happening, and it's not just one person. All these things are an effort from all of them. Mr. Dugal is sitting here, while the fund has started now, but his contributions are way older. And his contributions which come are not just starting a scholarship, but it comes with a theme in mind. For best girl student, all-rounder student. That was a scholarship we started when 10 years back, 15 years back. So when all such people come together, Mr. Amarjeet Bakshi, he walked in director's office one day with a check of 1 crore that now onward for the next 10 years, I will give this to you, use it for whatever purpose you want. Then we started feeling that this could happen. And then all of us, Sandeep Singhal, another backbone of this, who contributed, and who was very sure that all the structures you talked of have to be in place. Unless they are in place, this one will not work. And then everything came. And it really, and Professor Rao, of course, has been inspiring all of us and also doing everything. Without him, nothing would have been possible. The bold decisions we were able to take was because he was always there, supporting, often even prodding us to do that. So all of this has taken place, and it really is great. And one of the other things which I would like to, which in fact some of the students asked me today, and I told them that really what this represents is, it's not just the material contributions the alumni are giving. Now we have set in place an endowment board. In this board, other than 4 or 5 professors, 15 to 20 people will be the alumni who have been the most successful alumni, as the world knows. And when they put their minds together, then it is not just how to get more funds, that will be a very small part of it, but the direction they will give us, and along with the director and the dean, when they sit and decide the direction, the product which will eventually come out from that will be something which will be very futuristic, which will lead IIT Delhi into as a leading institute in the world. And that contribution is, I think, which comes because of this fund, which otherwise would not have come. Those big people would have been sitting in their offices doing their work, but now we are using their thoughts and their power to run IIT Delhi. And so that is what I see will be a big part of this. And then Vinay, of course, you have done a great job. I used to walk past this place until a week back, and I never thought this would be possible. And really, you have done a great thing, and not just here. I know of the other activities which we are doing. Of course, a bit of, and Naveen has been really doing a marvelous job afterwards. And so we are seeing all this take place, and I'm sure we will be going to much greater and higher heights. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Zagi, for that vibrant, memory lane discussion. Yes, there's one thing, and we were talking about this as we were getting together. One thing I think survival technique we learn in IIT is that how to do overnighters. And when you have a deadline, things get done. So I'd like to thank everyone. There's been many a night and many an effort that has gone in the last few days to get here. I would now like to call upon Professor Rao. Professor Rao.
Good afternoon, everyone. I think the place has come out very well. When the first time you enter, it looks great, grand. I think since many of us have seen this place before, I think the contrast is even more striking. So that's also the thing. But you will also have many visitors now. Not all of them will visit you to give money, but just to look around. There are very few places in IIT which look like this. So there will be, I think, how you convert some of those visits into something which is useful for you is entirely up to you. But I think the IIT Delhi Endowment Fund, not just for the institute, but to the entire country has set a trend. So now after we have launched it in the Rashtrapati Bhavan, many institutions have come forward. Now there is a buzz around setting up endowment funds, and many institutions are now asking us our blueprints as to how IIT Delhi has done it and what happens. And I think it has definitely changed the culture of the institute. Even the President of India, Shri Ramnath Kovind ji, and after our endowment fund, and his office told me he also wrote a 1 lakh check to his alma mater. Because I think until that time it never occurred to alumni of the institutions that they can pay back to their institution. So that is a trend that IIT Delhi has set, and I think we all have played a part in that, every one of us, and not only those who are in this room, but those who are watching us and those who are also not watching us, because I think so many people have played their bit to the perfection, which is what has brought us to this milestone. But these are also really milestones. I think our target is to reach the whatever we have set for ourselves. But these are the steps in the direction, and it also shows that we are doing things right now. and eventually we should be able to reach there. In fact, I think this financial model for running of IITs is something that we have been working with Government of India, the Ministry of Education for some time. There is actually no financial model for running these institutions. And so we propose that there can be 3 ways the IITs can run. The first part is, of course, the student fee. Right now the students don't pay any fee, and many students should know that what they contribute to IIT expenditure is only 6 to 7%. So institutions are funded, subsidized up to 94-95% by Government of India. So therefore, we still need to depend on the government because of that. So while students may not be willing to pay or may not be able to pay while they are studying here, nobody stops them from paying back after they graduate, and that is where we have been looking at variety of schemes and how to pay back. And there are something like 50,000 alumni, and if cost of IIT degree you take as $50,000, if all alumni pay back the dues that they owe to the institute, that is straight away a $2.5 billion endowment. So I think if it is not even a donation or anything, it is just that they need to pay back the cost of education, that the institute has incurred on them or the Government of India has incurred on them. I think just paying back the dues will help us reach that target. And once we have that kind of an endowment, I think that gives us a lot of freedom to do many things that we have currently not been able to do. The other aspect of income for the institute, needs to come from the research overheads. That's also something that we have taken up with Government of India. While there is a lot of research happening, there is hardly any overhead that comes with this research. So that is again something that needs to happen. And there are many other things. So we need to create these diverse ways of running the institute, diverse ways of income sources, and that is how the institute will achieve its milestones and its objectives. I think that part of it needs to happen. So otherwise, I think everything is fine. But this place will be eventually, be like a Lakshmi in the midst of Saraswati. So I think so you need to ensure that not only the place looks nice, but the people are also as nice. So you have to. Nobody should say that, oh, they're all completely different kind of people and they don't talk to us well. I think that those impressions you should not convey. So you need to gel with the institute culture. You need to work with these same people, and yet you need to meet your objectives, which are not part of anybody else kind of a mandate right now. So I think we have started on a good note, and things are looking pretty good. And I hope if this trend continues for a few more years, I am very confident IIT Delhi Endowment Fund will be able to reach the target that it has set for itself. And I think when you reach that $1 billion endowment target, call us wherever we may be, call us to celebrate that occasion. So I hope it all happens while we are active and we are able to travel and all of that. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Rao, for your kind words of encouragement and guidance as we now kick off our advancement and development activities from our new home. Yes, we have a steep target, but we also have a plan. So we will definitely work towards that. I would now like to take this opportunity to thank a few people, because a project of this scale could not have been possible without the support of a number of well-wishers. Firstly, we would like to acknowledge the continued support of the Institute Infrastructure and Engineering team. And as we look to complete this project at the earliest, and while working cautiously and safely during the pandemic outbreak. Thank you, Professor Iyer, Dean Infrastructure, and a big thank also to Mr. Mukesh Khandelwal, Institute Engineer, for his guidance and support at all times during this project. I would especially like to call out Mohit Gupta, our designated single point of contact, for his ready and willing coordination in seeking support of the various departments of the Institute. Mohit, I think you should get a hand. Thank you so much. His coordination and seeking, just through the maze of departments that we had to go through was very, very helpful. I would also like to thank the supervisors on sites, Amitabh and Deepu, who I think have spent many nights, Nitesh, without which I think a lot of these workers and coordination, almost like an army over here at some times, also keeping safe practices during COVID. And thank you Hemant Koshal and Mahesh Rajput of Sarka, who are partners in the project management and for coordination of the Institute Administration and Security. We thank you very much for the time and effort that you have provided to help us understand what it takes to actually deliver on a project of this scale. And I want to thank personally Kavleen. Thank you for all your support. Thank you so much. I think the coordination, the administration, making sure that everything was, gate passes were made, security was coordinated. I mean, looks like, minor work, but believe me, it was the biggest bottlenecks that we had along the way. So thank you so very much. I would also like to now take a special mention of the kind generosity and the support of our distinguished alumni who have helped us provide their expert guidance and most importantly their service at this time to help the construction and the solutions at this contemporary office. Firstly, I'd like to thank Sanjeev Kallan, founder and CEO of Communications Media Products, who has done a lot of work in setting up all the communications in this institute. And I think he's provided us, he says, the best solution that he could actually have, because he believes that that's what our alumnus deserve and that's what we should showcase here in the future. I would also like to thank Sanjeev Mehta, Director of Barcodes 4U, and who's represented here by Rashmi, okay, for the contactless solution that we now need given what we've learned from COVID. And to have a facial recognition system that could actually be a part of the solution that we have now introduced here at the Institute and which we believe will be the smart way to move forward. There are many more people that I'd like to thank. And I'd just like to say thank you. We're all very grateful for your help. Thank you once again to our chief guest for being with us today. And we'd like to thank everyone who took the time to join us today online and to our guests who are here with us personally to wish us all the best as we embark on our advancement and fundraising journey. We now like to invite you I'd like to extend a personal invitation to all the alumni around the world to please visit the Endowment Center whenever you are next on campus. This is really your home, and we'd love to have a discussion on how we could all support the Institute as it goes on to the next century and how we can work towards helping all our fellow students in the success that they directly deserve as much as we have received. I would now like to extend a thanks once again and wish everyone a safe just take care, because COVID is over here for a while. We will be traveling to try to meet and engage with everyone, but till then we will try to engage with virtual meetings and hoping that you would support us in those discussions at all times. Take care and all the very best. Okay? I would now like to close and like to invite everyone for refreshments at the lobby of our main building. Please, I would like to extend you an invitation to please join that. We also have a memento for everyone who's been here. Please make sure you get one. All right? Thank you. Thank you, everyone.